being a chosen one. Everybody not willing to neglect or fast from whatever they have to fast from, when it come down to being, or neglect whatever they have to neglect when it come down to being a chosen one. Family, friends, associates. A lot of chosen ones, they complain about being alone and stuff like that. Like how much, how lonely they are. But that's where your power is as a chosen one. A lot of chosen ones, they don't really understand that. They just kind of talk about how they're alone and stuff like that. But that's what it if that's what it takes to level up, if that's what it takes to better yourself, even the things that you eat, you might have to neglect it. Everybody not ready to make the sacrifices to being a chosen one. And I'm not saying that you're gonna always be alone, but a lot of times you will, and you have to just, like I said, man, I'm comfortable with being alone. It's a lot of people that's not comfortable, with being alone. I've been practicing being alone for a long time before I even became a YouTuber. So it doesn't affect me like that. I'm naturally an introvert. I'm more of an introverted person. So I was never too much like a person that, a party person like that. I was never too much of that. But like I said, man, I do like every now and then go out on the weekend and stuff like that. Yeah. But the majority of the time, I'm tapped in. A lot of people, when it comes down to a chosen one, it costs a lot. You might even have to neglect your own dad, your own mom, your own brother. Because they don't understand. Or because they are in the way. Or because they're trying to create blockage between the God that's within you and you. You have to go within. You have to go within a lot of times as a chosen one and figure things out. It's going to take a lot of shadow work. It's going to take a lot of pain. It's going to take a lot of suffering. It's going to take, you're going to go through so much. You're going to go through joy. You're going to go through breakthroughs. Excuse me. You're going to go through new doors. You're going to be tested a lot as a chosen one. Chosen ones, we're always getting tested. Every single week, every single month, every single year is always going to be a test there for us. And you got to do a lot of studying as chosen one. You guys do a lot of studying. A lot of people I'm thinking about just, Bible. Like I said, if there's nothing wrong with studying the Bible. Yeah, you're supposed to read the Bible, right? But you have to study self as well. Like I said, man, a lot of shadow work, come with being a chosen one. And a lot of people, they don't like, it's going to be a lot of accountability. That's the cost of being a chosen one. A lot of accountability. That's why everybody's not chosen, man. Most people don't want that accountability. What's up, man? Raw Dog, man. What's up, bro? Donnie, what's up? Appreciate you guys coming into the live. But I'm talking about the cost of being a chosen one. A lot of people not ready to pay. You must pay the price. And it's not in money all the time. Yeah, you're going to have to make financial sacrifices, and, you're going to have to invest into yourself and take a lot of risks. It's going to be a lot of risk as a chosen one. You got to take a lot of risks. But it's going to be, it gets deeper than that when it comes down to paying a price. You know, people slandering your name. You know, people gossiping about you, saying negative things about you. You know, scandalizing your name. People saying that you changed. People trying to become your friend for the wrong reasons. No, this is the price that you pay. Long suffering. You know, changing diets, changing, you know, changing the way that you think, changing how the way that you feel. You know what I'm saying? Like I said, I'm not. I was never a perfect. You know, I'm not a perfect chosen one. You know, you're not gonna be perfect as a chosen one. You know, like it was a female. She commented and said I was a good person, but like me as a chosen one, I'm gonna say that I'm a balanced person. You know, I like to look at myself as that, and I'm enjoying the balance. Well, the darkness of the light. You know, you have to go through dark times to see some light in your life, and I'm not going through that. But this is the cost of being a chosen one. Chosen ones, so it become. I said become. Yeah, it's before. Yeah, it's before there was yeah. Yeah, you was chosen before you was born. You know, the God within you already knew. I already knew, man. Yep. You guys gotta understand that. So you have to continue to. You gotta be ready for. Excuse me, guys. You gotta be ready for anything as a chosen one. You gotta be ready for anything. You gotta be ready for, you know, your own battles from within, and worldly battles and temptation. You know that goes on. You know, you're gonna be a lot of pressure is gonna be placed upon you as a chosen one. You know, but that's what comes with it. You know, you must pay as a chosen one. And it's not always you pay negative, because people like to talk about, oh, the negative chosen ones, we always just go through negative stuff. That's not true. We go through a lot of you know, we have breakthroughs, you know. We have happy moments. We have exciting moments. You know, we have fired up moments. You know, and the ultimate thing is that as chosen ones, we have like a lot of discipline. You know, we're it's instilled in us from the God that's within us, man. You know, that's where it come from. So a lot of people, you know, they say that they chosen, but are you ready for accountability? You know, are you ready for the battle that you have to go through? Are you ready for your friends changing on you, turning on you? Are you ready for your family turning on you? And I'm not saying everybody gonna turn on you. Every friend, every family member gonna turn on you. I'm not saying that. But are you ready for those that are? You know, even your closest friends. You know, back in high school, I had a close friend. I hit him up, but he never hit me back. You know, and it just told me that I need to, you know, I need to spend more time like going within. I need to spend more time thinking. I need to spend more time by myself. I need to spend more time with the God that's within me. And I accepted that. I accepted it. I was like, man, you know, it kind of, you know, I thought about it. It kind of bothered me for a little minute, but I never like really like told anybody. I was like, wow, you know, he never hit me back up. One of my closest friends. Well, I was his friend, and like people expose themselves, and that's fine. I'm glad. You know what I'm saying? Because that tells me right there that he never was my best friend. You know what I'm saying? He just was my associate, or he probably maybe was my enemy, and I did not notice because back then I wasn't as spiritual as I am now. You know, and aware. But now I'm aware. So it is what it is. This is what you have to go through. But a lot of people, they'll be trying to chase their friends. Oh, bro, what's going on, bro? Why you ain't hit me up? And why did this not? Like me, I don't do that. A person don't hit me back up, I'm fine. It's cool. I'm fine. I'm perfectly fine with that. It just lets me know that you never was for me to begin with. You just try to pretend like you were for me, but really you wasn't. Your intention wasn't really pure from the get-go. You just probably trying to figure out, what type of knowledge you could soak from me or what you can get from me, and then, you vanish once you can't get what you want, or you feel like I'm at a lower level of knowledge than you vanish, or whatever the case is. People, this is what happens when you're a chosen one. People gonna leave your life. Bro, what's up, man? People gonna neglect you. You're gonna go through a lot of neglection and stuff like that. But you will rise above it. That's the thing. The chosen one. But yeah, man. But it costs a lot, to be a chosen one, to be like chosen by the God that's within you. Like I said, you don't have to that doesn't mean that you have to like be in a box. A lot of people, like, as chosen ones, they talk about it as like they always like in the box. Now some of them probably are, that's their experiences, but me, like, sometimes I go out and stuff like that, but as a chosen one, I experience good experiences when I go out and bad experiences. You know what I'm saying? People doing nice things for me. One time, I was coming out, excuse me, I went to the store, and as I was coming out the store, walking out the store, two females held the door open for me. Not one, two. I've talked about this in one of my senior retention stories way back, but you gonna experience you gonna experience respect from people, and you gonna experience disrespect. It's more of like of a balance. People like to talk about the negative side of being a chosen one and the cost and whatever you have to pay because it's more interesting, because it's negative. But I could talk about the positive too. You're gonna have people want to learn from you as well as a chosen one. This is what it costs. You gotta bring that knowledge. You gotta bring that wisdom. You gotta impute it. You gotta help people out, man. And you gonna have those that's trying to use you. So, and that's fine, but you don't have to allow them to use you. You don't have to let them use you. That's why you got to be wise. You got to know who to deal with. You got to know who to who to talk to, who to come by, know who to give your energy to, and who not to. I had some good experiences as a chosen one. Yeah, I remember one time, God, this is when I was I think I'm gonna tell I think I'm gonna tell this on another live. I'm gonna do chosen one story time. That's what I'm gonna do. Hold on. I gotta put this down. Yeah. I gotta put it in the story. Hold on, guys. Yeah, but I've had good experiences, man. I've gotten respect. Come on, let's hear it. Hit it. Johnny, nah, I'm not gonna talk about it, man. You gotta say you can't, you can't always tell everything in you know, in one live, man. You can't tell everything, bro. You gotta have, you gotta save content. I'm gonna just keep it real. I'm not gonna talk about it right now. You gotta save content, bro. So you just gotta be on the lookout for that. When they say chosen one story time, or yeah, it's gonna probably say chosen one story time. This is what happened, and then I'm gonna explain it, bro. Yeah, but guys, like I said, man, how you guys been, man? What you guys been up to? Well, y'all get out from work or what? Are you going into work or day off? Y'all got any questions? Y'all ask me some questions, man. Like I said, I don't mind answering no questions, bro. I like questions. But I'm very I'm very blessed, man. I'm a very blessed person. Just to be able to find my purpose and to, help you guys out. Coleman, why do people not? Okay, here we go. We got a question. I hope it is. Coleman, why do people? Coleman, why do people? Raw Dog asked this question. He said, "Hold on, y'all. My bad." He said, "Coleman, why do I always have to be the one to reach out to people instead of people reaching out to him?" And it's because they're not for you. Those are the people that that you care about. They don't care about you. See, that's the thing. See, when a person care about you, they show it. They show a genuine connection with you. They want to talk to you. They hit you up randomly. When a person really interested in you, when a person really, your friend and all that type of stuff. Like me, I've been stopped doing that. I was like, man, let me stop reaching out and see how many people reach out to me. And I realized the majority of people don't reach out. And I'm glad. I'm glad they expose themselves. I am so glad. Because now I'm on my purpose and all this type of stuff. Now I'm at peace. See, when I was reaching out to everybody and all this type of stuff, I was being distracted, bro. They'll tell me, go to this place, or do you want to go to this place or that place? Like, they were just distracting me. That's why I didn't know my purpose. So, me reaching out to people, bro, I realized that, excuse me, I even had that experience too. I thought about it too. I was like, bro, why? I'm the only one that's talking to people, like, and trying to talk to people. Like, they don't, and I'm not saying everybody, like, it's females hit me up first. Not be true. Thank you. Yeah, bro. It's because they really don't want to be around you, bro. They really don't have a genuine friendship with you. They don't want to connect with you. If you really want to know who your true friend is, or who your true, best friend or brother or whoever the case is, or sister as chosen one, stop reaching out. Stop hitting them up first. And if they never hit you up, that tells you something. That means move forward. Don't dwell on it. Don't dwell on it. Just like you gotta accept it and move forward, because those people are not meant to be in your life. Those people, we got 5 people in the chat, man. Y'all hit that like button. But those people, they're not meant to be in your life. If you the one that gotta reach out all the time, they don't really, they're not really, all that. They don't want to reach out to you. They're not they're not your friend. They don't want to be connected with you. So you gotta accept that. And I accept that. And I'm glad, because I got less friends now. And I'm glad, bro. I have less friends. When I was reaching out and stuff like that, bro, it was more things that was coming up, bro. More drama. More different situations that my friends were going through, all this type of stuff. I had to hear all that and listen to all that. And it was no problem me dealing with that and listening to that. It was no problem, because I was like I would give them advice. But I'm glad that I don't have to deal with that no more. I'm at peace, bro. Like, I'd rather be at peace and have only a few friends, like not even a handful, or maybe a handful, but most likely not even a handful. Than to have a whole bunch of friends, bro, and they just distracted me from my purpose. But you know what I'm saying, and that's fine. It's like now it's girls, bro, following me. Old people from school, bro, they'll follow me. You know what I'm saying? But they never really talk to me. But they'll follow me. They'll add me on Facebook and stuff like that. And I add them back, but they don't hit me. They don't say nothing to me. You know what I'm saying? Because they think they're the prize and all that type of stuff. So I just ignore it. You know what I'm saying? They don't even. I remember this one girl, more than one girl. They followed me on. They added me on Facebook, but they didn't like anything. So it made them. They were showing they were showing that they was interested. But they trying to show they're interested, like they trying to show a little interest. If a person follow you and they don't hit you up or nothing like that, they want you to chase after them like they're the prize. I don't have time for that. I don't have time for that, bro. And watch when I come up, bro. When I come up and all that type of stuff, and I relate to that. Yeah. When I come up on YouTube. And I got 100,000 subscribers, 200. When I put my accomplishments out there, then I watch how many. It's gonna be so many girls hearting it, liking it. But they added me though. And then they gonna, then they might comment. And then they might, they gonna show interest. They gonna try to comment, show interest because of what I have. You know what I'm saying? But like I said, man, they just gonna get. They're gonna just get, smashed and gone, bro. You know what I'm saying? I'm not gonna really be so I know it's not really genuine, but it's still my chance. You know what I'm saying? Still my chance to, deal with them. I deal with them. You know what I'm saying? As far as I know I said smashed and gone, but more like. Hold on, guys. Dang. I just seen something. So, guys, anyway, what I was saying was more okay, guys, I'm offline today. All right, man. I appreciate you. But yeah, guys, it's going to be more I'll be cool with them and stuff like that. But I know exactly in the back of my head why they want to hang out and stuff like that. But only just friends and me just having sex with them, nothing, I'm not going to take it further to, get into in a relationship, because right now I'm just focusing on my purpose right now. So I hope you guys got some up out of this. I hope